All right, welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How is everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam that like button. I'm still pretty sick, but I'm feeling a lot better today. So feeling a lot better. So I think I've rounded the corner. So we're gonna do a quick little live stream here. Dano, thanks for the $2 donation, brother. I appreciate you. For some NyQuil or cheap tequila, either works. I appreciate the support, brother. Bitcoin going lower. All right, then short it, bro. Short it. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's get into it. What's the jersey? It's not a jersey. It's just a Browns hoodie. I'm here for going to the Browns game. Bearish weekly and monthly. Okay. Listen. All right. I'm going to answer that question, and then I'm going to start off with my analysis, and then we're going to get into it. So check it out. If I see something taking place on the daily chart, that will take weeks, if not months, to play out. Okay? If I see something taking place on the weekly chart, which this doesn't even look bearish to me on the weekly. It's just a back test of the 20 moving average. That's fine. Great. Fantastic. But if I see something bearish on the weekly chart, that will take months, if not quarters, to play out. And if I see something bearish on the monthly chart playing out, that will take years, quarters, if not years, to play out. Okay? So that is, this idea that we're going to see something on the weekly and then we're going to see it happen tomorrow. No, that's not how that works. To answer the question, like on a monthly, like 3 months from now, is Bitcoin going to start to be bearish? Maybe a quarter or two from now, is Bitcoin and crypto going to start to be bearish? I would argue yes. But the question is, what are we going to do between now and then? And let's get into it. So on the daily, though, we're still, excuse me, we're still kind of finding support here at the 100 moving average. And then this is kind of what I've talked about of, there's two basic scenarios that I see taking place for Bitcoin. And that is, the preliminary support, selling climax, secondary test, and phase B. That is Wyckoff accumulation. Okay, and the big question is, are we working on, there's two bottoming structures that take place for Bitcoin. Okay, you have your preliminary support, your selling climax, your secondary test, and phase B. Okay, we've already passed all of these in my opinion. Okay, now the big question is for phase C. Okay, because it's literally it's 50-50. Sometimes in phase C you get LPS. LPS does not go lower than the secondary test in phase B, and then you work your way out of here and you get your sign of strength. That is one scenario. If this is the scenario that's taking place, that would mean that the bottom is already in locally, and the next major move is going to be back to 117, 118, and then you have the same Wyckoff accumulation, bottoming structure, preliminary support, selling climax, secondary test, and phase B. Again, we've already done this. But then you have the spring variation. The spring variation would take you to about $105,000. And then you would go to your sign of strength, which is about $117,000. Okay? Now, as it stands right now, I am leaning more towards we're working on the LPS version of the bottoming structure. I would give it about a 70-80% chance that this is what we're doing, and the local bottom is already in for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrency, and we're just making a higher low. I think there's a decent probability that that is what we are doing. Now, I'm cautiously optimistic. And what I want to see, I would like to see $109.4 thousand. I would like to see that hold. To me, that's kind of the line in the sand. Like, if that doesn't hold, then we're doing the spring, and we're probably going to go back to 105. That's going to be short-lived, in my opinion. And right now, literally is the perfect time for that to play out, as tomorrow is the blood lunar eclipse for September 7th through the 8th. So if we're going to have any funny business happen in the markets, in my opinion, like, we're going to get our answer probably by Monday, maybe Tuesday. So for me, I'm not going to be putting any new trades in the market until probably about the 9th or the 10th. I'm cautiously optimistic that the bottom is already in. I have a scenario outlined in place. If we get those targets, like if Bitcoin gets us a spring, great. I have some longs that I'll be taking because either way, we're either fully rounded on the bottom or we have one little plunge, and then we're going to go to our sign of strength. Now, let me put to dismay or dismiss or put at ease. A lot of people are saying that, what Bitcoin is going to do actually is it's going to go to, it's going to just rock through. And part of the reason why I think that the bottom locally is the highest probability is already in. There's a lot of support over here. So this idea that you're just going to rip through all this is very low probability. The 200 moving average, we could test that. That's about 105. So that wouldn't be weird, but that's a lot of support to get through. Okay, so you're working against structure at that point. It could definitely happen, but I think it's less probability. But what will not be happening, though, let me tell you right now, this idea that Bitcoin is going to go to $90,000. And then that's fine. We're going to rip through all of this support, go all the way to 90K, and then boom, we're going to another higher high, rockets and Lambos. That's not happening, okay? So to me, like, the line in the sand is like 100K. So, yeah. Eventually, we're going to go, people keep talking about the CME gap at 92K. Well, guess what? There's a CME gap at 117 as well. So which is going to get hit? In my opinion, both of them are going to get hit eventually. The 117 is going to be first. And we'll probably hit 92 when it's all said and done. When the show is over, we're going to come back down to 92 or even 70K. So that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. I think the highest probability is we are going to, this was already the bottom over here. What did we even get to? 97 or 107, excuse me, 107.2. And the highest probability is this is the bottom already. We could test the 200, but again, like, this idea that you're just going to rip right through the 200 moving average, I don't see it. Even like you just don't see that happening very much. You find it as support more times than not. You might dip through it a little bit, like you can see, but generally you're going to bounce off of that. You can see that again and again and again. And the reality is, and we've talked about the moving averages, until this all flips where the 200 gets on top, we are still in a bull market. And I'm going to play the market just like that. I don't need to just go out here and make moves just to make moves. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm going to be cautious in September because it's a transitionary month. Okay, historically we know that September is the worst performing month for stocks and for crypto. Now, the caveat to that is this is a guideline, not gospel. Guideline, not gospel. This isn't the 10 Commandments, okay? This isn't any of that. This isn't go get your tattoo of September is red. Because in reality, the last 2 Septembers for Bitcoin have been bullish. So this is the average, not gospel. Guideline, not gospel. But I do think that September is going to be a transitionary month for Bitcoin, and we're going to transition, or for crypto really, into Altseason, into October, into November. And what that entails, like, what does that mean when you have a transition? Transitions are met with volatility, so I'm going to be very cautious during this time. So on the top is from the March C19 crash all the way. We pumped into August. And to me, we're kind of repeating that again. So we'll see what happens. And I'll show you how it played out for this particular time here. So this was your spring right here. Let me just copy this, actually. This was your spring in Wyckoff, the C19 crash. And then you had your spring in Wyckoff was the tariff crash. And then you pump into the August, excuse me, you pump into August. We were up pretty significantly this last time around in 2020, 230%, followed by a, what was this? A 21% correction, I believe. Yes, 21% correction. It was 3 weeks. Okay, so we pump into August and we had a 21% correction. Now, we didn't pump 230% this time. So, what's the reverse of that? You're not going to have, we only pumped 68% this time. Okay, so that would lead me to be inclined that this pullback here is going to be less than the last time. We pulled back 13%. And it was also 21 days. Okay, now let's zoom in on how September played out here. It was just choppy. There was a little bit of movement upside. There was movement to the downside. But in reality, we were just kind of grueling our way into October. It was just higher highs and higher lows for September back in 2020. And then from then on, it was pretty much straight up for the rest of the ride. And I don't really anticipate Bitcoin to go wild from here. 138 is my highest probability target. We could go to 207. But what I think is going to go with it is going to be others, all the other altcoins that, a lot of people have been waiting for in a lot of ways. So with that, let's get into your guys's, let's look at Bitcoin Dominance. We'll look at Ethereum, XRP, give you my thoughts on that, and then we'll get into your guys's questions, comments, concerns. Like I said, I'm still a little stuffy, but I don't have a headache anymore. I don't have a fever or anything like that. Just a little stuffy, but rounded the corner, but still not 100%. So I'm going to do my best here. Let's look at Bitcoin Dominance. This is, to me, full-on bear market at this point. Literally full-on bear market. So the 200 is fully on top now. We have the 100. Then you have the 50. Then you have the 20. And Bitcoin Dominance has just been falling off a cliff. This is what we've been waiting for forever. Now what we want to see is Bitcoin to rise while this continues to fall. That would mean Altseason. Now, it wouldn't be weird to come up and test the 200 even. I have my 3 targets. 59%, 60%, and then 61.5%. All of those would be fine. It would ultimately just be a higher low if that's what we were to do, and then you could roll over and continue. All that's fine. All that's well and good. People want the moves to happen tomorrow. I need to go 100x long, ski, please. But that's not the reality of how the market works. It's not as black and white as everyone wants it to be. All right, let's look at Ethereum. Sitting at 4,300. It's same thing, still making higher lows, fighting with, we've talked about this a lot. It's very rare that you just bust through the all-time high. That to me is exactly what Ethereum's done. Test at the all-time high, rejection, test at the all-time high, rejection. Is the next one going to get us above? From my experience, it usually takes about 2 to 3 tests. This is across assets, and then you get a firm bounce above it. So we'll see. Can we get above the 20 moving average again? If we get another test, it's going to be probably about $5,000 for Ethereum. And the question is it going to be enough to actually break above it into price discovery? Because this, even though it made a new all-time high, this is not price discovery. That's just a wick to the all-time high. And we've talked about this a lot. Very common for assets to get rejected multiple times at the all-time high before actually then breaking. Ethereum right now has 2 rejections at the all-time high. I would anticipate, in all likelihood, will probably get rejected again. Perhaps maybe 5,200, something like that. back test again, higher low, and then probably the fourth time it's going to actually break it. Generally, from my experience, the third or fourth time is when it actually breaks. Generally, you don't see something just break the very first time. That's true to the bottom too. Like, you don't generally just see it like the 200 moving average. Like, if you go to the 200, generally you're going to find it as support, at least near it, the first couple of times before actually breaking above it. And then let's look at XRP, and then we'll get into your guys' questions, comments, concerns. XRP sitting at 280. To me, same thing, really. This was the spring, though, in my opinion. And I want to see this hold 269. I would like to see that hold, and I would like to see us get back on 290. Would put us in the most bullish posture again. And then we could have another push to the upside. Ultimately, we're going to be waiting for Bitcoin. Everything's going to be waiting for Bitcoin getting back to that. And with that, let's get into you guys' questions, comments, concerns. Good evening. What's Flux next target? 333. All right, let's look at TikTok. There was lots of comments on there. Happy Saturday. What up, Solana community? Nice haircut, Ski. Appreciate it. Bingle's putting BTA. Almost look like the Oilers. Ski's the GOAT. I appreciate that, brother. Tomorrow at the game, you tell Judy I need 200 yards and 3 touchdowns from him. Do you think Bitcoin will go down to 101? 101 is possible. I don't think it's likely, though. 101 would be okay. It wouldn't be the end of the world. To me, like 100 is kind of the line in the sand that I want to see hold. Buy you some Solana coin. Solana is my number one 100x play. What's next for VeChain? Getting to about 5 cents. Will others catch up to the 702 retrace? Yes. I may have been a little bit early. Maybe, like, you know, we still have, what, 11 days. A lot can happen between now and then. Like, let's look at the percentage on others. Excuse me. My nose is over here struggling. What do we got here? What is the percentage move to catch up to others? So we have 11 days for my target. And I'm willing to be like, you know what? I was a little bit early because that happens a lot. 21%. So 22%. Can we move 22% in 11 days? I think that's very possible. It happens all the time, actually. It just happened. So... yeah, definitely. I don't think we're out of the, you know, I think that's the next move, whether it happens before the rate cuts, after the rate cuts, we'll see. To me, the most logical thing is before, so we'll see what happens, though. Boo. Your boy is not long Solana right now. I'm not doing too many trades for the next couple of days. I just want to see kind of how things shake out. Because there is a possibility that Bitcoin does a spring. And I don't want to be, you know... I would just do light leverage if you're going to put in trades. Because there could be a lot of money to be had, to be honest with you. But just do light leverage if you're going to do trades right now. That would be my advice. Waiting on the panic dip. Yeah. If there's a panic dip, I'm going like, I'm pushing the chips forward for sure. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not like predicting a dip. I have outlined 2 scenarios basically. Scenario number 1, the bottom is in. Scenario number 2 is the spring variation. The bottom would not be in, but it would be in the next few days. Either way, I have a plan of action. I'll be longing in the next few days. After we get out of the eclipse sort of window, And if not, if we get a panic dip, I will be longing during that. So either way, I am bullish. I'm just very cautious for the next few days, if that makes sense. I am not bearish in the slightest. I am very bullish, but I'm very cautiously bullish. And I'm going to play with caution for the next few days. How you feeling now? I'm feeling a little stuffy. My throat's hurting a little bit. I was feeling like death yesterday, but feeling a lot better. Worried Link can do a 3x from here. No, I'm not worried at all at that. ETF's good investment. For me, no. Maybe for you, yes. You know what I mean? For me, okay. I'm gonna give you a scenario where okay, so the question is from the cat dad. The question is, are Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs a good investment? That's the question, okay? Now, answer is, I'll give you scenarios where they are an excellent investment. And that would be if you're in corporate world and you have a 401k match, and then you can add that to your 401k. To me, it's an excellent investment. Now, if you're just like buying Bitcoin, I would rather own Bitcoin because you don't own it. BlackRock owns it or whoever, right? And that's kind of like the entire point of crypto is for you to be sovereign, you know, and for you to have your own sovereignty, be in control of your own financial freedom, not put it in the hands of someone else. So for me, like the ethos of the ETFs are great for crypto, but it's against the actual crypto ethos. So for me, it's not really an investment because I don't have 401k. I don't, you know, I'm not employed. I am self-employed, right? So, but I think it is a great investment if you have a 401k match and then you're contributing to a 401k. That's where it makes sense to me. Outside of that, I would prefer to just buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, if that makes sense. When do you think we bottom? Listen, my thing is, and I said it from the beginning, there's two scenarios. We're either about to go into phase C spring or we are in LPS right now. Okay? And I said 70 to 80% chance this is what we're doing. So what does that mean? That means that there's a 70 to 80% chance that the bottom is already in. I think there's a scenario where we can wick into a spring. And that, in my opinion, it's going to happen in the next few days if it happens at all. But I think the highest probability is LPS, Wyckoff accumulation. That is what I think. Does that make sense? Green NyQuil. Yeah. Please, I want to learn more about trading. If you want to get a one-on-one course, consultation, coaching, you guys can hit me in the DMs for that. I do offer one-on-one coaching. You ever listen to a guy jam? He thinks everyone wrong and going very low. Listen, I don't think about other men, to answer your question. I know Jam he's called a couple of tops, right? He's been bearish publicly since 2023. So, you know, when was he bearish? He was publicly bearish right here since $24,000. So he called this top right here. He was bearish here. He was bearish here. He called this top, right? So bearish here again. He was bearish here. He was bearish here, here. So he called this top, right? Bearish here. Bearish all through here. Bearish. Called that top. Bearish. Bearish again. Called this top. Bearish. Bearish here. $2,700 top call for Ethereum was the latest. So there you go. If you're, bearish every day, sometimes you'll be right. There you go. That's my opinions on that. In my opinion, he's been the most accurate. Not even close, bro. That's fine. You can have that opinion. I just showed you his public record. He has been bearish since 2023. I don't know how you can call that accurate. Since 25K, my man's been bearish. Anyways, I'm not doing this tonight. That's that. You think Solnik's a 100x play for this bull run? Solnik is my number one 100x play. I personally think we are in a bull trap. If we were in a bull trap, we would need to be bullish, right? We would need to be at the top of the range. You don't get a bull trap from a bearish couple of weeks. Maybe we go into a bull trap. I could see that. You know what I mean? I could definitely see that. But this second, no. All right. Ski, do you think it's likely for 15 to 25 cents Solnik? I think that's very likely. What do I think that we're going after 138? That might be it. We'll see. To me, though, like, where we're going after that is, like, Altseason. Proper euphoria. That, to me, is what happens after that point. Jerome Powell might resign. Sui price prediction. I think it's like $5, if I remember. I don't remember, actually. What is my Sui price prediction? Oh, $5 to $7. I don't drink dairy, brother. He says, Ski, stay away from dairy. Get some oregano spice ball. Drink it with some tea. It will clean you up. I don't drink dairy. I haven't drank milk since, like, maybe I think I quit drinking milk in like 2016. Maybe it wasn't like the popular thing to do even. This has been an awful bull run. It's because it hasn't been the bull run, Jay. We haven't started, really. Let me show you. Let me show you. All right, this is good, Jay. I need you to take notes right now. This is very important. All right, this is what everyone gets so confused by. Is we want to jump the gun here, right? So cryptocurrency is a roller coaster ride. Okay? Let's see if we can find a cart or something. Let's give what kind of cart do we want for our roller coaster? Maybe it's a fun little animal or something. I don't know. Here we go. What is this? Alright, yeah, this is good. Here's our cart. We're going to pretend like that's our roller coaster. Okay? That's our roller coaster right there. That's our little cart. Okay. This is the roller coaster ride that is cryptocurrency. And everyone confuses this. They make it way too complicated. And they think that their mid caps and their large caps are going to be pumping all at the same time. In reality, the longest part of the ride is going up this first little hill, right? The longest part of the bull run is from fiat into Bitcoin. The entire last 2-3 years, that is what has happened. That's it. That's all we've done. And you might think like, oh, last time it wasn't like this. And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples where that is not true. I will show you. I'm going to give you 27 examples to where in our brains we think that everything was ripping last time, and that's not the reality of what happened. Okay, I'll show it to you. But just listen to the presentation here, trust, and then we're going to verify later, okay? Within the next like 5-10 minutes. All right. Then we go into Ethereum and XRP. Okay, I would argue this is where we're at. Do you know how I know that this is where we're at? Because Bitcoin dominance has been falling off a cliff. Absolutely falling off a cliff, has been putting in lower lows, and is officially in a bear market. What do I classify as a bear market? When the 200 moving average is on top, then the 100, then the 50, then the 20. Bitcoin dominance has just crossed into a bear market. And while Bitcoin has been ranging here, we have this range we can clearly see, right? We can clearly see, what do we have from Ethereum? All right, so I'm marking out right now exactly where we are at in the ride. Okay, now what people get mad and they get confused is they think that the whole entire ride is the loop-de-loop part of the ride. That is not the part of the ride that we're at. Okay, now on the top is Bitcoin during this same range. All right, right here, we were at the bottom of the range. We pull back right here at the bottom of the range. We go up, pull back to the bottom of the range again right here. And what do we see from Ethereum? Because these are the same dates, by the way. We can see that, right? What do we see from Ethereum? Ethereum, the first time, was at 3,000. Okay. Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. Bitcoin pulls back to the bottom of the range again. Where is Ethereum? $3,500. Okay, great. Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. Bitcoin pulls back, Ethereum pulls back to $4,200. Ethereum is up over 50% compared to Bitcoin during the same time. All right, so let's go back to the roller coaster ride. Why does it feel so crazy? Because we are only just now after 3 years, we are only just now here. Going into Ethereum is now outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, what is next? What is next is the large caps are going to outperform Ethereum, which are going to outperform Bitcoin. That's next. That's when we start to really get into the ride. Okay, and then just like this part of the ride takes forever. Right? As the ride goes on, the more crazy the ride gets. That is the same thing for crypto. This is going to be mid caps. Then we're going to get here and we're going to do a loop-de-loop into the small caps. And then we're going to go into the micro caps and then it's going to be over. So why has this bull run been so frustrating? Because we've only been at the Bitcoin part of the bull run. Now, I said I was going to give you proof. Let's show you proof. All right, let's look at the last time. Okay, one important note. Man, I'm not even 100% and I'm bringing you guys this. Drop a like and a follow. All right, this... when Bitcoin got into $118,000, that is price discovery. Okay, that's an important distinction to make. What is price discovery? Price discovery is a full leg higher than the previous high, right? So, example, right here. Back in January, Bitcoin was at 109,000, right? Or 109,000. We pull back, and then in May, we got to 111. That is not price discovery. That is a wick higher. This is price discovery, okay? Same thing over here. This is now a full leg higher than the previous all-time high. It's not a wick. It's not slightly. It's a full leg higher than the previous high. This is what they call price discovery, discovering a new price to range at. Okay, this is an important place for Bitcoin, and we're going to circle the last time Bitcoin got into price discovery was right here. Okay, January 6, 2020, January 6, 2021. That was when Bitcoin goes into price discovery. From the C19 crash to the time that Bitcoin goes into price discovery, Bitcoin does a 10x. And in your brain, you're going to think that everything else was just ripping during that time. And that's not true. That's the difference between fiction. That's the difference between the story we tell ourselves. That's the difference between fairy tales and the facts. Okay, the fairy tale that we tell ourselves is during this time, everything was ripping. Everything was going parabolic. That's not true. Okay, and I'm going to prove it to you. All right, so we need to separate our feelings from facts. We need to separate a fairy tale story that we have told ourselves from the actual reality of what really happened. All right, the actual reality of what actually factually took place. Just like this right here. I'm going to give you a little meme to show you, to really illustrate what I'm talking about here. I'm going to just show you, like, this is a meme real quick. I'm going to show it to you real quick. What we think about what happened in 2021 versus what actually took place. All right, so here's a meme just to illustrate, to wrap it up, put it simply, so that the most amount of people can understand. And then I'm going to go technical and actually show you, like, for real. 2021 Altseason, this was everybody. And then this is now 2025. This is how we think about 2021 Altseason, when in reality, that's not what transpired. Okay, stay with me, everyone. Are you with me? Everyone say you're with me. Drop a follow. All right. Now, so on the top is Bitcoin from the C19 correction until price discovery, okay? And then here's the same date, January 6, 2021. We can see. Now, this is Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency. I promise you on everything, I have yet to find a coin that was not at its bear market lows, near its bear market lows, or below the bear market lows. And Ethereum, it was near the bear market lows during the same time when Bitcoin already did a 10x. Okay? Now, from price discovery, what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin went on to do another 50% move. That was it. What do I think that Bitcoin's going to do now? Somewhere between 20 and 80%. That is what I think Bitcoin will do. All right, now, what did Ethereum do from that moment? Nothing crazy, just a 5x from the same time. Okay? I'm going to show you, we'll do this. I'll do a few examples. I'll show you others. I'll show you. Here's Dogecoin. Okay, I have the same thing circled here. What do we notice? Again, Bitcoin goes on to do another 50% from here. Bitcoin from here to here did a 10x already. What do we notice about Dogecoin? Where is it? Oh yeah, near its bear market lows. What does Dogecoin go on to do from the time that Bitcoin goes into price discovery? No big deal. 7,000% to the upside. No big deal. All right, and we'll show you the total too. We'll show you others. And I promise you, here's H bar just because it's here. It's on the way to showing what do we notice about H bar? Lower than the bear market lows. And what did H bar do from this point in time? No big deal. 39,000% to the upside. Excuse me, I lied. 2,500. Forgive me. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I lied. All right, let's look at others. But I promise you, I have looked far, I have looked wide. I have yet to find a coin that existed in 2021 alt season that was not at its bear market lows or near its bear market lows during the same time that Bitcoin was in price discovery, and did not significantly outperform Bitcoin after that point in time. But in our brains, we have this fantasy right here. This is what we think about. That's not reality. That's a fantasy. That's not facts. The facts are Bitcoin went into price discovery first, and then we had alt season. Now, let's look at others, which others is really, when people say altcoins, alt season, they're really talking about others. Others is everything outside of the top 10. All right, I'm going to give you an example, clearly define it for everyone so that we all understand. So if we go and look at the top ranked coins based off of market cap, it goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the way down, right? And then you get to Cardano is number 10. After that is Hyperliquid. So that's number 11. Others is number 11. Excuse me, sir. Number 11 on. So everything from number 11 all the way down, that is others. And generally when people think, when they say alt season or altcoins, they're not talking about Ethereum. They're not talking about XRP. Maybe some of them. They're mostly talking about others is what they're talking about. Okay. So that's why I'm showing others, because I think it's an important note. All right, here we go again. What do we notice about others? Let's zoom in a little bit because you can barely daggone see it. January 6, 2021. What do we notice about others? Oh, right. Near its bear market lows. Bitcoin goes on to do another 50%. What does others do? No big deal. It goes on to do a 10x from here. Come on now. So there you go. Hopefully that puts your mind at ease, my man Jay. Because that is the reality. Let's go up. There we go. All right, Sonic. Sonic's my number one 100x play. What has to happen for Bitcoin to shoot past 138? It just needs to go back to the sign of strength. 118 would be confirmation that we're headed in that direction. When are you normally going live? Haven't been able to find you. Wally, I've been sick, bro. I haven't been live since, I don't think I've been live since Wednesday. Normally I'm live somewhere between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Time. 5 p.m. is really the time that I'm supposed to go live. So that's going to be the schedule. I'll be back in Tennessee Tuesday. I'm supposed to do a live stream with William Watson this week, I think on Thursday. So that's going to be Thursday evening. Me and him are going to do a podcast together, talk about, not really a structure, honestly. We're talking about the charts, talk about the markets, what we think is going to happen. We have very, different ways of sort of charting our TA and stuff like that. So it should be an interesting podcast. And then I'll be live with Alex on Friday morning, but my normal live time is about 5 p.m. Central Time. You think November, December is the top? I do. You're wearing a nice jersey. It's not even a jersey. It's just a hoodie. Just a Browns hoodie. Just because I'm cold. I brought it here because I'm going to the game tomorrow. Sound a little stuffed up. You good chance of... Yeah, no, I've been really sick the last few days. I was like on death's doorstep yesterday. Not really. I'm just a big baby when it comes to sickness. Like, you can punch me square in the jaw, and that's fine for me. Like, I can break my bones. I've dislocated my hip. I've broken many bones. All that stuff's well and good. I've had many concussions. All that's well and good. But if I get a little cold, bro, like, I'm down for the count. I told my wife, like, when you birthed our daughter, that was the closest thing that you can experience to what I feel with the common cold. Okay? When you birthed our daughter in our living room, that was the closest thing you felt, you experienced to me during the common cold. Okay? I am down for the count. I am cooked. I am a baby when I am sick. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather you punch me square in the jaw than get sick. Chainlink. My target for Chainlink is 38.78, 178. My target for VeChain is 15 cents, 20 cents, 40 cents, 60 cents. 10 more K to get to 50K likes. That's going to be a great podcast. Probably going to do, I don't know, like it's not been confirmed, but we might just do that like once a week. Like I already do a podcast with Alex once a week. We'll see how it goes, but that might be coming more. I'm going to try to do more podcasts with other creators because I think it's good. Where does this put us in the current cycle? In my opinion, like it's pretty clear. Bitcoin dominance has broken, right? Bitcoin dominance is now in a bear market, and Ethereum is up 50%. Like it doesn't feel like it because it pulled back, right? So Ethereum just pulled back a little bit. I get it. Like it sucks. You see it. But reality is in June, Ethereum was at $2,100. So it's very clear that Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin. All right, so like let's show you this one time again, and I'll go back to it. Here's the cryptocurrency roller coaster ride. It goes like this, from fiat into Bitcoin. That is the longest part of the ride. That is the longest part of the roller coaster ride. From fiat to Bitcoin, that is the longest part. Then you go from Bitcoin into Ethereum. To me, we are clearly in that. And then the next thing is Ethereum into the large caps. And how do I know that that's where we're at? One thing, Bitcoin dominance has been falling off a cliff. And number two is Bitcoin has been ranging since July. Right? So it's been at this range since July. Let's look at Ethereum during that same range. I'm over here struggling, guys. The common cold be the death of me. All right. So here's Ethereum during the same time. All right, I got the dates circled. Let's make it white, actually, so you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. Got this one. We got this one right here. Okay, so you can kind of see it a little bit clearly. These are the same dates that I have circled for Ethereum. Right here. Yep, that's the same date. Okay. On the top is Bitcoin from July of 2025 through present. And then on the bottom is Ethereum from July of 2025. And look. When Bitcoin was at the bottom of the range, the first time Ethereum was at 3,000. Bitcoin goes up to the top of the range. Ethereum goes up. Then Bitcoin pulls back to the bottom of the range. Ethereum pulls back to 3,500. Okay. Then Bitcoin goes up to the top of the range. Ethereum goes up higher. Bitcoin pulls back to the bottom of the range. Ethereum pulls back to 4,200. Okay, so this is significantly outperforming Bitcoin right now. It doesn't feel like it because it's not in price discovery. And when you chart like emotions, how they feel, I'm just going to tell you right now, Ethereum's not going to feel bullish or parabolic until it goes into price discovery. Okay, even though it's up 50% against Bitcoin. So it's significantly outperforming Bitcoin right now just in the last month or two, even though it doesn't feel like it. I understand it doesn't feel like it, but again, we got to separate facts from feelings. All right, guys. XDC targets 20, 40, 60 cents. VeChain still looking good. I agree. VeChain looks really, really good. That's probably my favorite blue chip play right now. You should do a stream with Cosmic Crypto. Those guys would respect you a lot. Yeah, like try to tell them that. I'm down for doing whoever, as long as they're, they're solid. You need a ginger shot, bro. I know. Listen, I feel better than I did yesterday. Yesterday I was like, oh, I was cooked yesterday. But, yeah, I think by tomorrow I should be better. I'm feeling way better than I did yesterday. I'm just a little stuffy right now. Him and bullish. Yeah, so it's going to be up to you guys. You got to hit them up like when they're live and tell them to do a podcast. I'm open for it. Tell them, hit me up. Thoughts on KTIA? I'll take a look at it. Can you please take a look at Flux? Thank you. Yeah, I like Flux a lot, man. Flux is beautiful. All right, let's look at KTA. I'm excited for this Dexter cattle. Let's go. Me and Jam did a podcast before, actually. Me, Jam, Alex, Watson, and I think Alvarez was on that too. We did one podcast with like everybody. It was like the Avengers. The Crypto Avengers. You need to give Alex some pointers to be more personable. I had to work really hard at it. Quietly, I've worked very hard at teaching very complex ideas like TA, and I try to present it as simply as I can so that the most amount of people can actually understand and follow what I'm talking about. Because if you watch my content from like, even a year ago, like if you didn't know anything about TA, you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, what is this witchcraft that he's doing? So I've worked really hard at making my stuff more palatable for regular people. While still, really tackling complex issues, complex problems. I'm still working on it. Not perfect yet, for sure, but I think I've definitely made progress in that area. Let me see if I can find a good chart for this. I used to be really bad, though. I used to be way all over the place. I don't mind this, bro. This went all the way till full retrace. Came back to the 236. Found support off the 236. We would like to see it get above $1. Would put us back in the most bullish posture. And then parabolic level is 360. You need some zinc. I've been taking zinc and I've been taking elderberry. My wife made me a syrup before she left. You and Crypto Glenn would be epic. Crypto Glenn. I have no idea who that is. Save us. Good news is we're early. It should be a crypto mix with British. Have you tried turmeric? Elderberry, great also. Yeah. Listen, I am on the up. That's why I'm live today. Yesterday, I was on death's doorstep. 2 days ago, I felt pretty bad too. I felt pretty bad 2 days ago. Yesterday, I was like terrible. Today, I feel better than I did Thursday or Friday. Right now, it sounds like I'm worse than I am. It's more just I'm congested still. But other than that, like, I feel 10 times better than I did. So I imagine by tomorrow I should be feeling pretty good. But yeah, I have some turmeric, all that stuff. When's Altseason? I think we get into euphoria October, November. That's what I've been saying since 2022. Some big African numbers in here tonight. Crypto Glenn is the biggest bear. Don't do it, bro. Oh, that's the dude that he's in the G League. Right, he said nobody had, that's the dude that said nobody had Crypto.com breaking out on their radar. And I said, you didn't have it on your radar. But I did. I remember him now. I've never seen his content ever. I don't watch other people, guys. Like, genuinely, I don't. There's a few people that I, like, respect their work. But I'm just uploading content, and, you know, whatever I say, like when I make my videos, right, wrong, or indifferent, like, it's coming from me. I'm not going to be swayed by somebody else. You know, I have a pretty good track record. You know, I'm in the right flavor more than I'm not. I've been in the wrong flavor a couple of times. February, I was wrong. Back in 2023 when Bitcoin pulled back from 48K to 38K. I thought we were going to pull back to 35K. I did not pivot quickly enough. I was wrong then. But other than that, I've been pretty much in the right flavor, lockstep, outside of those 2 times for the last 4 years publicly. And I'm constantly, like, refining my stuff. But either way, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm dying by my own sword. And it's going to be my own stream of consciousness. You're not going to get a watered down, this is Ski plus X creator's thoughts. Like, no. I don't watch other people. I really don't. There's a few people that I respect their work a lot. But other than that, I just have too much stuff going on. I would rather just, you know, spend time with my family and that type of stuff. ICP going lower. Bearish since 30K. Appreciate you taking questions. Glenn is a master. Okay. If someone's been bearish since 30K, that's not a master. Axion. So now I'm asking about VeChain. I've been talking about VeChain forever, bro. Okay, listen. I'm gonna zoom this out for you so we can see. Dano is my witness. Anybody who's been here for any amount of time is my witness. The whole tab that I'm, like, looking at, it's called Wyckoff Ski. Meaning I have an entire list of cryptocurrencies that I think have the exact same setup. And I think they're relatively going to do the exact same thing. Okay? ADA is on the Wyckoff Ski list. Aave is on the Wyckoff Ski list. All right. Algo is on the Wyckoff Ski list. They all have the exact same setup because I think they're all going to do the exact same thing, relatively. AVAX is on the Wyckoff Ski setup. What else do we got here? Dent is on the Wyckoff Ski setup. What else? Dot is on the Wyckoff ski setup. Crow was on the Wyckoff ski setup. Where is Crow? I feel like I moved it down. Dogecoin is on the Wyckoff ski setup. ETC is on the Wyckoff ski setup. All of these coins, I think, are going to do the exact same thing. But yes, to answer your question, we're just going to keep doing it. Link, they're all going to do the same thing relatively. They're going to be different ROIs. They're going to be different, risk to reward, different inflation, that sort of thing. But structurally, they're all at the same spot. Even silver, by the way. Y'all are like, what is he like here? By the way, silver, actual physical silver, was doing Wyckoff accumulation, sign of strength, back test of the prior range. What is it doing? Breaking out. Come on now. But yes, VeChain is on the Wyckoff ski list. Not only is VeChain on the Wyckoff ski list, by the way, Uni. Not only is VeChain on the Wyckoff ski list, it's probably my favorite blue chip on the Wyckoff ski list. Solnik is my number one 100x play on the Wyckoff ski list. VeChain is my number one blue chip play on the Wyckoff ski list. 20, 40, 60 cents. XCN, XDC, like all these coins have the exact same setup. Why do they? XYO, they all look the same. Why do they all look the same? Because they're all going to do the same thing, relatively. So yeah. Rose, that's right. There's a bunch. When do you think Bitcoin actually hits 200K? 200K is not my base case. 138 is my base case. 207,000 is my parabolic case. And if it's going to happen in November, in my opinion. Dot 2040 100. Yeah, anybody that's been following me for a long time knows I've literally been talking about all of these coins forever because they all been doing the same structure. So this idea that I didn't have Crow on my list, like literally I have a list called Wyckoff ski list. Yes, I in fact did have it with video evidence. Did you hear Alvarez's account has been banned? That's insane. So dumb. When do you think 200K will be your base case? If we hit 200K, it would be in November. That is not my base case. My base case is 138. My target since $16,000 with video evidence has been 118,000, 138, 207. Those have been my three targets since $16,000 with video evidence. Now, here's the deal. All right, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I am aware of 5 creators. There's a lot of crypto creators. I'm going to tell you something. This does not mean that these 5 creators are always right. This does not mean that anybody that is not on this list is wrong. Okay? This does not mean that these 5 creators, their ego can't get in the way. And anybody that's not on the list, they can't grow and learn. Right? This is my reality, though. I am aware of 5 creators. I'll call it December, but in reality, November. December of 2022. November of 2022, when Bitcoin was at $16,000. I am aware of 5 creators that was publicly bullish buying Bitcoin and saying they think it's going to go up and that the bottom is in. Five. That is it. Here is the list. Blockchain backer. Waters above. Calvin Hill. Alex Costa. And myself. That is it. End of list. That is the end of the list. Those are the only ones that I'm aware of in 2022 when Bitcoin was at 16K with public video evidence that was bullish. Alex did not. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Wait. What was your list for? My list was, again, not that these 5 creators are always right and not that people that are not on this list are wrong. Doesn't mean that. But it just means, like, in the worst of times, in the scariest times, these individuals were publicly bullish when everybody and their brother and their mother and their mama and their girlfriend and their cousin and their uncle was saying that we were going to 12K. I'm aware of 5 people that said otherwise. That is it. Add credible crypto. I can look. I'm not aware of credible crypto. Hey, bro, Calvin Hill's too much. Again, I'm not telling you that these people are gospel. Myself, I have flaws. I'm sure Alex has flaws. Calvin has flaws. Everybody has flaws. I'm just telling you the list that I'm aware of in 2022, November of 2022. These are the only people that were bearish or bullish. Everybody else was bearish. Like if you go and look at any creator in 2022, they were telling you it was going lower. I was not. In fact, that was my first beard bet, or like it was my head. I said I would shave my head if we went lower than 15,500. November, I believe 11th is when I made that bet. November 11th, 2022. Bitcoin was at $16,000. That was it. Thoughts on FOMC meeting? Listen, I'm cautious for September. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a hater. I don't watch Calvin. I'm just giving him credit because he was bullish in 2022. I don't watch anybody. These are the only individuals I'm aware of that were bullish in 2022. That's it. Are you Bitcoin only? No, I'm not. Thank you guys for all the gifts. I just noticed a lot of gifts from Kevin. Appreciate you, brother. Pat's World. Dano. Thank you guys for all the gifts. Alex says VeChain won't get to an all-time high. I disagree, but even if it only retraces, it's still a 5x. You watch yourself? I watch myself, yeah. Not really even myself, to be honest, but sure, I watch my videos to make sure I didn't make mistakes. What do you think about XRP? It's not moving. People keep telling me that. People keep saying XRP doesn't move. like, what timeline are we talking about that it doesn't move? Because 10 months ago, it was at 45 cents. Yeah, like last November, XRP was at 43 cents. So 10 months ago, XRP was at 43 cents. On what timeline are we exactly saying that XRP does not move? Now, it is true that XRP is the queen or king of boring, boring, boring until it is not. XRP, in fact, did that for 5 years. It was at that same range. All right, guys. That's going to be it. I'm still not 100% here. I just want to come on here, give you guys a live stream. But that's going to be it for this time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never message you first. Those are scammers. If your boy Ski or a Ski's Crypto messages you, it is not me. If you want to set up a consultation with me or one-on-one coaching or any of that stuff, you can hit me in the DMs. I am more than happy to do a Google Meet call to verify video that I am who I say I am. So if you want to set up a consultation with me, I'm happy to verify that I'm the real Ski. But that's going to be it for this time. I will not be live tomorrow. I'll upload some videos and I'll be back on Monday. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless. I'm out.